Well, who do they chase or what do they chase? The new hitting coach, it seems to be, is almost hired, one of them, and he can improve a chase rate and decrease strikeouts. Let's talk about it right now.
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. We hope that you make us your first listen all off season, whatever happens. When it happens, we'll be here to kind of walk you through it, whether it's the Astros hiring a new hitting coach or go ahead and signing that big free agent or making that big trade. We'll be here between me and Brett's 18 years of podcasting experience. We'll be here all off season. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So I know that the main focus for today's podcast is going to be, we don't know if it's for sure going to happen, but the Astros are rumored to be about to bring in Victor Rodriguez to be the new hitting coach. What philosophy is he going to try to bring to Houston? What do the Astros need help with? We'll look at some of the team stats from this past season. And maybe is he going to bring in an assistant hitting coach? We don't know who that's going to be, of course, but there's so much for us to talk about on tonight's Locked On Astros podcast. So stay tuned in. So Brett, Victor Rodriguez, what have you been hearing about him?
Well, been hearing a lot of good things. Number one, he's 64 years old. I didn't know that. But, age is really nothing but a number, right? But seriously, if you look at what he's done in his career, he's spent a lot of his years, around 20 years, with Mike Shildt, who just stepped down as the Padres manager. And if you remember back to what Dana wanted Centron and Snitker to focus on, and that was being more patient at the plate. That was, seeing more pitches, stuff like that. They simply
better contact.
Yeah. We'll get into those different things later. But with Rodriguez's philosophy, because he was asked by The Athletic, like, what's your philosophy? And he says, I think our philosophy is more about you have to have a better chance, or you have a better chance if you make contact. He said, I know at times you'd rather even strike out than make contact into a double play. But I realized that part of hitting has been going, it's gone. So what he's saying is the guys are waiting for that pitch to drive out of the park. The guys are waiting for that pitch they can get at that certain launch angle and park it in the seats, because we know the name of the game is home runs. That's why someone like a Stephen Kwan, his value isn't as high as you would think it would be. Can you imagine if Stephen Kwan was a 35 a season home run hitter? The dude would be a $500 million player because he's so good in the field and he makes contact. But what someone like Rodriguez would do is bring the Astros back to more of, I guess, the basics of baseball and making contact. And that is probably music to Dana Brown's ears.
Well, I think if you look at the Astros, the past 7 years, they've been basically one of the lowest teams in terms of strikeouts by hitters. So they don't strike out a lot. I think last year was one of their worst seasons as a team strikeout wise. But they've been under Snitker and Centron. That's been kind of the focus. Hey, don't strike out. But like you've mentioned, they've been also one of the teams that grounded into a lot of double plays. This last season, they had a lot of singles. They've had a lot of situations where you get runners on base, but you don't get that big clutch hit. And so maybe that's a situation where you can say, hey, let's be a little bit more aggressive, but let's be a little bit more patiently aggressive and outside of what we see from Jose Altuve, because that's why I put him on the thumbnail, because I don't think you can teach an old dog new tricks, but you can try to work on these guys to be a little bit more patient and pick their pitches, but not always prevent the strikeout, because strikeouts are not terrible, like you said. Yes, it sucks, but so does the ending double play. So that's what I think you're kind of alluding to there. I really love that point that you're making, because the Astros have had so many double plays the past couple of years, and we're always like, why are the Astros having all these double plays? It's a product of two things. They make a lot of good contact and they get a lot of runners on base, but they can't seem to get the clutch hit, and they're afraid to strike out. And so maybe if I know with Jeff Luhnow, you had those years where he was going out to get the guys that are going for the big long ball, but also, Brett, when you go for the long ball, what comes along with it?
You fly out, strikeouts. I mean, swing and miss stuff, right? Another thing, if you look at Rodriguez's 2 years with the Padres, okay, the Padres posted baseball's lowest strikeout rate and the sport's highest contact rate. Luis Ariz was a part of that equation. He even had a little bit of a fall off, but they've got guys on that team like Fernando Tatis Jr., who hits for contact, but also hits for average and hits the long ball. So you replace him if you bring him in with two guys that were here for 7 years, Eric. And what's wild is the Astros had the highest OPS in Major League Baseball in those 7 years. So obviously it's going to take a change of philosophy. It's going to take someone different, giving a different approach. I mean, that's what happened with the Blue Jays. That's what happened with Alex Bregman going to Boston with their hitting coach and noticing things. And if this guy he clearly has the experience, not if, but he has the experience with major league hitters, and he has coached some of the most respected names in the game. Why wouldn't you shake the tree of this guy and get him to Houston and then bring someone else in? You might see an influx. Now, what I will say this is temper your expectations. They're not going to all of a sudden become the best in every category offensively, but right. A combination of a new face, a new philosophy with healthy players, that kind of makes things a little bit easier for you to have success going forward.
Well, somebody like Jeremy Pena, you don't want him to change a lot. I think what
right.
he did as a leadoff hitter, keep on doing what you're doing. We saw some regression a little bit with Yainer Diaz. I know that he's a big topic of discussion among Astros fans right now. What do you do with him? I don't think you trade him. I think you hold on to him, and I think he could be a big part of this team if maybe a hitting coach can kind of work on him. And I'm pretty sure that if it's Victor Rodriguez or another hitting coach, they probably do their homework before these interviews, and they say, hey, this is exactly what Yainer Diaz is doing. This is exactly what I can do to fix him. This is exactly what I saw Cam Smith do. He was doing this for this little stretch, but then he stopped doing this, and then he developed this bad habit. Good hitting coaches can look at other teams' players and say, hey, this is what they're doing. That's why other teams can exploit hitters when they're struggling, because they can typically see what's going on. But you saw last year, 7 Astros who took about 390 plate appearances last season. 6 of them had top 50 swing rates in the sport. Mauricio Dubon, Jose Altuve, Yainer Diaz, and Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena, like I said, we don't have to fix him. His aggression is working for him. But the other guys, you can kind of work on that. Maybe Christian Walker a little bit, kind of bring him back. And the big elephant in the room, this has nothing to do with his size. We got to get Yordan Alvarez back to where he was years before, because the Astros are not going to go anywhere without his big bat making contact and the ball going really, really far.
Right. Well, but for him, it's more of a health thing than a hitting thing. It's definitely.
But even with the start of the season, Brett, didn't he get off to that bad start? Everybody's wondering, hey, is it because he batted second? Remember the whole discussion?
I remember, but now I look back on it. I think he was dealing with this injury that he dealt with throughout the year.
Maybe.
And I mean, it had to have been. his power wasn't there. I mean, yeah, he hit some home runs, but he wasn't hitting Yordan home runs. He wasn't going in the box and lacing the doubles and the singles and doing all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited to hear about this new pitching coach. Hopefully we can see this guy get hired and then see who else we're going to bring in.
Yeah. So Victor Rodriguez could be the Astros' new hitting coach. We'll see. But guys, we'll go and continue the discussion. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Hey everybody, it's H-Town Wheelhouse. I'm here to talk to you about FanDuel. FanDuel is here with the NBA. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Now, it keeps getting even more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'm telling you, the Rockets are on fire, and they are a team that you want to bet on. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out. Between Brett and I, we have over 18 years of podcasting experience. We're your team every day. And right now, we're talking about Chandler Rome's report. It's not official yet, but he said, according to multiple sources, that told The Athletic the deal is not official. And some details are still being finalized, but the expectation is for Victor Rodriguez, to assume one of the two vacated hitting positions on Houston's overhauled coaching staff. And this was first reported Tuesday night. So we'll see what this means. Does that mean they're going to go for a second hitting coach as well? So I don't think that they're going to go ahead and have just one hitting coach, because over the past
they're going to hire a second one. Yeah, I think they're going to. I mean, you wouldn't change that equation up at all. But one of the things we have to think about this last year is with the second highest chase rate and the third fewest pitches per plate appearance. And we talked about this. What was the magic number, Eric, for the Astros to have a victory this year? How many runs?
3 or 4.
4. Come on, man. You don't remember me talking about 4 runs?
I tried to block that out of my head because it was just
that's all I talked
it's
about.
Like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
All I talked about. Eric, you did not pass the assignment, sir. You're going to have to retake the test. But they scored 3 runs in 82 of their 162 games. Not only that, but they were crippled offensively with Yordan's absence. And that's one of the things that that Chandler Rome mentions. But even without going through his article, I mean, you can just look at what's going on the field with someone like Christian Walker, where he took forever to get going. Jesus Sanchez comes over towards the end of the season, and he was like Chris Carter on steroids, minus a lot of home runs. You had Jake go out with the injury. You had Jeremy Pena was killing it. Then he had that injury. I mean, there were so many obstacles and hurdles that they had to jump over that they just could not seem to get out of their own way. But definitely those 4 hitters that you mentioned with high chase rates, 35.3% of the time they chased a ball outside of the zone. Like you said, Pena, Diaz, Dubon, and Altuve. That has got to be cut down. And, Mauricio Dubon is friend of the show. He's a great Gold Glover, and I think when he is dialed in, he is one of the more dangerous guys at the plate because he will slap a ball to second base. I mean, slap a ball to the outfield, get a double out of it. He's fast on the bases, and so that's something we're going to be looking at. The reason why I put philosophy anew is because there has to be a new philosophy come in. And what was missing? I think what was missing was the ability to communicate the importance of contact, not home runs. contact, not swinging that stuff out of the zone. Because we all know what kind of hitter Jose Altuve is, declining or not. We all know what kind of hitter these guys are. But you're going to have a coach focus on it and say, this is where we're going.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of people preached all last season. Let's go and bring in a new coach, just see what happens. I know it's not always a prescription. It's not always going to work. It didn't work really well with the Rangers, but sometimes a situation works where you bring in a new guy and it just changes the whole philosophy. It's not going to change the personnel. You're still going to have Jose Altuve who swings at everything. You're going to makes contact a lot of times, but you're going to have to bring the coaches to, like you said, bring the frame of mind that you want to teach. It's like the teachers that you bring to your school. You're not going to want to bring the teachers that don't want to teach to the style that you want to do. So it's all about just bringing the guys that you need for the task to be done. And so that's what the Houston Astros are doing right now. They're trying to find some people that sound good during an interview, sound like they have an idea how to fix certain players, and they feel comfortable with. And like I said, Joe Espada worked with Victor Rodriguez before at one point with the Marlins. So this may be a pretty good fit.
Yeah, and, Luke kind of says something here. He's like, most players have their own personal hitting coach outside of the team. I understand that, but a hitting coach doesn't come in. A hitting coach doesn't come in to work with the players necessarily individually only. He comes in for hitting approach, hitting philosophy. When we face this team, what are their tendencies? That's his job, just like a catcher. Okay, this is this hitter's tendencies. This is what he's going to do. On a 3-2 count, this is what he does. Early in a game, he turns the ball over a lot of times. Late in the game, he tries to pull the ball. I mean, this is information that a hitting coach is going to give you. And then he can bring, when the guys are coming up, the guys that need help, he will help them. So, yeah, they have their own hitting coaches. And someone's asking, did we additionally sign a new hitting coach? We're actually talking about that right now. No, we have not signed a hitting coach.
No.
But,
it's officially unofficial. It's unofficially officially. So Tanner Roman says,
we don't say that. You can just say that there's a lot of interest and talks are progressing. I mean, right. I think that characterizes it properly. Because Eric, if you bring someone like him in, you bring someone else in, maybe you can why not go get a Steven Kwan? I mean, Jorge Polanco just opted out of his contract with the Mariners.
Right.
A switch hitting second baseman to help out Altuve at second. Why the heck not? The guy's got a career OPS of 770. So not terrible. I mean, there are some options out there. We don't have to go break the bank or just get to the vault of the bank and rob all the money out of it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things you can do that I think will help this team going forward.
Brett, I think this is going to be the off season where Brett starts the Steven Kwan fan club. So, because you bring him up every show. So I
love it. Yeah.
Dana Brown, go ahead and make this happen.
Are you not a Steven Kwan fan?
I would like to have him, but you already have a semi-loaded outfield. If you want to have Cam Smith play every day, if you want to have, just some like Alvarez in left field, and you want to have Myers out there. So you already have guys out there. So you need to have some place for these guys to play. But Brett, I've got to get to my college class, but you go and continue conversation. Go and continue preaching the love of Kwan. So, I'll talk to you later.
Well, I'll go ahead and transition us. You have a good one, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And next, I'm going to talk to y'all about our next sponsor tonight. That is going to be Prize Picks. Check out Prize Picks today. They are awesome. You'll love them. Check them out. So everybody, it's H-Town Wheelhouse, and I'm here to talk to you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is where you need to go. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5. I love it. And whether it's NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in than now. If you haven't tried it yet, go. It's the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during football on Sundays and now NBA tip-offs. I've been absolutely loving it. The new Stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on Alperen Şengün's three-pointers, Kevin Durant's dimes, whatever you want. Plus, if one of your players leaves early with an injury, God forbid that happens, the injury reboot saves your lineup or mine from a loss. So download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. You know us. We're Locked On Astros. We're your team every day. Check out the Locked On Podcast Network. Also, make sure that you check out MLB Game Night. MLB Game Night is here for you for your second listen every game, every night until the World Series champion is crowned. Local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and Locked On MLB, where you can find Paul Francis Sullivan, the walking baseball encyclopedia. The man has more stories than a 4-story house in Kansas. That's right. I don't know if they have 4 stories, but I assume with the basement and a 3-story house, that would be 4, right? So check out Locked On MLB today. So where can they go this season? What can this offense do? I mean, think about who we have in the coffers and who we have in the lineup coming back. Yainer Diaz, Christian Walker, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, those guys alone. Yes, I know they had down years. Yes, I know they weren't the best of chums when they were up at the plate and they were only scoring 3 runs or less in half their games. But if a new coach can come in with the philosophy of contact and changing their approach and getting them to see things differently, look at things in a different way, then the Astros offense has nowhere to go but up. I mean, you change some of these games and give them 4 to 6 runs in 10 of those games, you're winning the division by 4 games. I mean, that means you have a first round bye. That means you can set your roster, set your lineup. There's no telling what the Astros could have done. Now, could they have gone and beaten the Dodgers this year? I don't know. This team, I think, was very wounded. And offensively speaking, I don't think they were there. Pitching was also kind of a miss. But they've got to get guys like Yordan Alvarez back. Yordan Alvarez, I want to see play 140 games, no less. David says Yordan was the biggest reason we didn't make the playoffs. That and we didn't score more than 3 runs per game. You can't depend on one guy to score all the runs for you. But yeah, there was a big reason, but it wasn't any fault of his own. The dude was injured. He couldn't help it. Emilio says Altuve and Diaz are trigger happy. Yeah, I mean, we just talked about that. Diaz, Pena, Altuve, and Dubon all chased outside of the strike zone 35.3% of the time. Now, while Rodriguez can't come in and change their lineup, he can't come in and change personnel of who they have unless they bring someone else in new. He can maybe change the way they approach the at-bat, maybe the way they approach that inning with that pitch count. And hopefully this will translate into more contact. That's really what you're going for here. But I think this guy's experience speaks for itself. He was a hitting coach with the Boston Red Sox and with the Cleveland Guardians. So this guy's done phenomenal work in a 29-year coaching career. He knows what he's doing. And Paredes, I'm sorry, I keep leaving him out. I don't know why. I guess because he was out towards the end of the season. I want to see Yordan Paredes Pena less injured. Thank you. I think we all do. That would be awesome to do that. Some people are saying, hey, who should we go get? Who are the free agents? excuse me. I've seen a lot of y'all throwing around names on the show. If you're listening, you'll have to join us live because you can get in on the action. We try to interact with y'all as much as possible. Arlie mentions Trent Grisham or Cody Bellinger. We also have someone up here who mentioned Brandon Woodruff. I talked about him last night. I think he's a realistic option. There's all kinds of things hitting this team right now. Having three outfielders, like Ben says, Cole, Myers, and Melton. I think Melton's the odd man out there, but I think Myers and Cole definitely duke it out. David says we need the polar bear. Now, I would love the polar bear. I love that guy. I love Pete Alonso. I almost called him Pete Olsen. Pete Alonso, he is my favorite non-Houston Astro player in Major League Baseball. And I was thinking maybe the guy is too old. Maybe he's too long in the tooth, but I don't think he is. I just think that the contract he wants is going to price him out. I mean, I know y'all want him. 46, 34, and 38 home runs the last 3 years. He went from 217 average to 272. He raised his slugging percentage 24 points. His OPS is almost 900. His on-base percentage 347, up from 319 or 318 back in 2023. So yeah, the dude hits the ball a ton, and he's all his max exit velocities are a 115 and higher, which is absolutely insane. He's top percentile in just about everything from hard hit percent, barrel percent, expected slugging, batting run value. I mean, this would be a good dude to get, but you have Christian Walker and you're paying him a lot of money. You're not going to keep him and have Christian Walker. I don't even know if you are able to trade Christian Walker. But I think Walker comes around. I think Walker comes around this year and has a much better season with the Houston Astros. So the question is, where can this offense go? I think the sky's the limit. I think Walker stays healthy. I think Paredes gets healthy. You have Correa. Correa's not going to be your offensive pushing type player. He's not going to be your offensive juggernaut per se, but he's going to be a guy that can get you key hits, key RBIs, doubles, home runs when you need them. Yordan Alvarez, again, so important to get him in there. I absolutely love the idea of bringing Victor Caratini back because I think he's solid. He's a switch hitting left-handed guy. So the sky's the limit, I think, with 2026. And this offense goes as far as the player's health takes them. And that's my point. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros tonight. We've had a great show. Y'all, as always, are phenomenal. We thank y'all so much. We've had a lot more people liking and listening and consuming our podcast content. We ask you to share it with a friend. You know what? We're not satisfied with where we are because it's not about where we're at. It's about where we're going. We want to get to 16,000 subscribers. I want to get to 16,000 before spring training. That's plenty of time. We've got 15,235. So I need you, the listener, the viewer, to tell your friends to go to Locked On Astros, subscribe, hit that notification button, watch us, check us out, stop by, become a part of our family. Y'all have a good one. Owen, David, Arlie, Omar, Linda, Ben, Mama Wheelhouse, Jesse, David Castillo, Ollie is on here, Cordell Ross Jr., David, look, there he is again. See who else? Luke V. Who did I miss? Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good one. For myself and everybody here at Locked On Astros, remember, we're your team every single day. Home run. I'm out. Good show, y'all. Good show.